Good afternoon or evening, or whenever you're watching this video. Thank you for coming and tuning in to Deb Chanel's 48's World. And we're here to review the X Files, My Struggle episode.
Well, it's my struggle part two.
My Struggle Part 2, but we're in the last videotaping or processing of that show of season 10, right? Yeah. So it's X Files season 10, episode 6, My Struggle Part 2. Ooh, I was laughing, girl. I was laughing on this. It was so funny, but it was just as exciting and action packed as part one when it first came back on, introducing the 6 episodes season, and it was My Struggle Part One when they was dealing with Tad O'Malley and just giving all the conspiracy theories and just all that good stuff. But let's just go right into how it pretty much started out. Um, it was basically giving Scully's side because the first one we did when the season came back on, it was Mulder giving his side of the facts and this conspiracy theories that were going on, that the government was tied in so much of this alien type nation and one world order elite um, participation of both entities trying to take over the world and make it as they see fit. And this time it was Scully, and she was introducing us to who she was and who she in the end became, and what her feelings were and what her true found thoughts were, going through that whole process. And like I said, she was there basically to debunk everything that Mulder was trying to uh, assimilate with the X Files project, or department, that he really felt that it was an extra life force being introduced and assimilated into our country and culture and world that the government knew about, but yet they didn't want to let the people of the world or the human race in on this little ideals that they were cooking up, um, or comparing our world to a world that they really wanted to have, and place genocide on the world that we know of now. So she was just giving out all of her findings and feelings and actual factual information that she actually went through the whole X-File lunch project. So
Lunch.
lunch, like launching
Oh,
a
I thought you
plane,
meant
or
like
launching a balloon, hot air balloon launching.
I thought you meant lunch, like I'm taking lunchbox.
No. And she was giving us her scientific realm versus the spiritual realm, and how things cannot be unexplained, but they can't be ignored either. So she was just giving all kinds of theories, and I was here for it. And she was looking for her friend Mulder and all this kind of stuff. And at the end of her I guess dissertation she was giving us of her life rolling with Mulder with the X Files, she turned into an alien, honey. What you thought about Johnson? The alien shaped face she just put herself into.
Well, I guess I'll tell my take on that towards the end because it kind of correlated with her turning to an alien. And if you did see, I ain't gonna tell you, just go on.
Okay, so we're just gonna go into that first clip where Scully looks at Mulder, where she's trying to, like I said, she's trying to find Mulder. She's trying to, I guess, insert some more knowledge from her scientific finding on something they had been working on since that first episode that we saw. She goes to Mulder's office. She, there's like, where is he? He don't look like he even been there. She goes to look at his computer just to see, because she can pretty much gather where he's going with something and where she probably can find him. And he was looking at on his computer, just I guess snippets of some of Tad O'Malley's background information that he was doing prior to getting taken off the air. For some reason, he came back on the air, and he was talking about this new genocide of anti-agents in our immune system in our bodies, and the government having some type of knowledge of it, but it was something that was going to affect every human life on the planet, immune system, and it was going to come into a form of damaging our immune system, and it was going to be so quick.
Oh,
It was going to what do you call it, mess with us, or we were going to become extinct within a week's time.
yeah, what she said.
And anyway, as she kept talking about it, and looking at the website what Mulder was on, Tad O'Malley called her, and he was telling her, you need to come over to Mulder's house because we need to find some explanation. And she was just trying to say, what happened to Mulder, and do you know what happened to him, and where is he? And so, it just went on that, and she finally went over to his house, and it seemed like, oh Lord, either. At first, I thought that the mothership had came back for him and beamed them up or whatever, because it seemed like a tornado had went through his house. Papers was everywhere. Things were overturned, and I got an idea or insight as the story progressed of what had happened or what transpired. But anyway, they were there, and they were talking about what could have happened to him, where was he, where was he going, da 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 da. And she was talking to Tad O'Malley, and he was giving her his thoughts about what's going to be happening to the inhabitants of the earth, the human beings, and he was giving her his theories, and then she was trying to figure out things on her own. And of course, all of it didn't make scientific sense, so she had to go to her other counterparts. And that somehow Einstein, ain't no name Einstein.
Yeah, I understand.
She breaks down her theory to Todd O'Malley, and then she also breaks the theory down to, I'll call her Baby Scully. That's why I'm gonna go with it. They call her Einstein, but she don't really know Einstein. But anyway, she like Baby Scully. So, they get their brains to meshing together, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And she goes to tell her that she actually has alien DNA blood, and this, that, and the other. And, what do you think about that, Sean? That was too much for
Well,
Baby Scully. So she was looking at her like she was crazy.
well, it, people fear the unknown. When you tell somebody something that you might have came across or somebody else told you, they think you're crazy, for
Oh,
one, or you just making this up until you really see that they're not fooling around. They're serious, because it's just like when Mulder was, when we first started out with X Files, Mulder was, telling Scully that he believed in aliens. There's an alien life form, blah blah blah. And you saw how she looked at him.
Yeah, but she was just going through a scientific mind. She just thought he was out here as a
But
rocker
that's the thing.
until she experienced it. But then to
No, because she done experienced a lot of stuff, and she still was like, really, Mulder, you really think it's this? And it was in her face. And then
after she got beamed up too,
at the end of each episode,
Scully.
she be like, okay, well maybe that is. And then we do a little whole repeat of her having to go through this whole thing to make her really believe that it's another life form out there.
But she still be fighting between her scientific knowledge, meaning academia, then her spiritual knowledge that she's acquired through her parents and the training that they did with her religious beliefs. And then she's forced to believe, something that she cannot literally explain, but it's happening. Just like she can't harness the air that we breathe and tell us which direction it's going into, but we're breathing it.
Well, that's just what, as you say, Baby Scully. She just didn't know where she was going with this. But hey, if it helps people be able to live, then hey, let's roll with it.
I don't know, but the next phase that we're going through, before I introduce it, just keep in mind we're talking about police officers, we're talking about healthcare professionals in the medical field, and we're talking about the metroplex population, meaning the heart of whatever city and state that you're living in that, I guess, downtown area. What we're focusing
Basically,
on. No, I'm not finished now. We're going to be talking about lesions,
lesions.
anthrax,
Oh, you
you
talking about
know,
that was on the military one?
global contagions, yeah, global contagion, South Carolina, Spartanburg, South Carolina, and shutting down our immune system. Okay, so this is the scene too where it's taking place with Scully and Einstein. They're still comparing notes, trying to figure out what's making these individuals
Well, you
coming
gotta
up
first,
sick.
you gotta first say how they got to that. They
Got to
was
what? Well, I told they was at Mulder's house, and they was just already working on those theories about the alien DNA, and Tad O'Malley was going off on his soap opera what he felt was going on, and then um Baby Scully was just sitting in between trying to think in a scientific mind as well as just being a human and hearing all of this stuff. It just was overtaking her. So they felt that the best way they could do, since Scully didn't have any more, I guess, privileges at the medical center, she was going to use Baby Scully because she did have medical clearance. So they were going to go, after Scully telling Baby Scully that she has DNA blood and she wanted to
hmm
prove it to her and say that, pretty much everybody does. But that was like too overwhelming for Baby Scully to take all in at one time. So the best way for her to express it to us to show it to her through her drawing of blood. So they went to the
hmm
laboratory, but on their way to the laboratory, when they came downstairs from entering in the hospital, I guess all these fluctuation of individuals coming in to the hospital sick, and they were having all these outbreaks on their skin.
What was this one man they came in contact with that he had this big old scar, like he got beat
No, but then
up?
after
But we
they
talking about.
handled him, it was other people
But I'm
coming in with the
saying that's
same
the initial
symptoms.
contact where
Yeah,
they
well, okay,
thought
well,
was
yeah,
like,
they
what's going on?
they showed this one person coming in, saying he was, well, he was displaying features of sweatiness, shortness of breath, and itching, and he was, this big old lesion was on his one side of his arm. I think it was the right side. They showed, and it was like something that Scully knew, or she saw pictures of that. This were like injections that they were giving our troops, military troops, when they were going off to Afghanistan and Iraq to they were being deployed to go and be freedom fighters to help that region or that country with the attacks and um, negative concerns they were having over there in warfare time. And evidently they weren't expecting these folks to come back because that was really exposing them, you know, that the government had something or had foreknowledge of, putting this vaccine into all their troops. And they weren't, coming back wanting to explain all that information. But these folks, were having all these skin breakouts, and all these other symptoms that were like flu-like symptoms, and really heating their body temperature or rising it to a unstable type of temperature where they became unconscious or lethargic. And Scott like, oh, this is a major epidemic. It's gonna spread worldwide, global, and it looks and it sounds like anthrax, which is something that we use in warfare against our enemies or our terrorists when we're in wartime, to pretty much kill them, within a couple of minutes, days, weeks. So they were just so like, okay, we really got to go into this lab and draw blood and stuff like that. So she went and took blood from Scully, and they were trying, and it was just a small extraction of blood. And when they went to review the results, nothing came up. But all these people were still getting sick, and they was trying to figure out, well, what's going on then? What's going on? But in the meantime, uh, what name?
Mulder.
Mulder was out there with Smoke Man. He had found him, child. Mulder was just, going, on the highways and byways, and he didn't give no clue of where he was going. And
And once again, he was beaten up.
yeah, the man, that's somebody
Oh
pistol whip Mulder. He was all swollen on one side, and blood had ran down his face on the other side, and He was still, Scully was trying to reach him on the cell phone. He would look and be like, "Okay, yeah, that's my baby Scully, but I can't talk to her because I'm trying to get here and whoop this man ass if I can find him." And we didn't know where Mulder was going. It was at nighttime, and he was, traveling in some kind of government related vehicle. And they did give us in the second clip with him being on the highway, they did show South, welcome to South Carolina. Spartanburg was the place that he was headed. And once everybody had got that information, I'm gonna say baby Mulder, which is Agent Miller, he went and go rescue his daddy because he knew what was going
His
on. I
daddy.
know, but I just put them together because they look like, the younger version of them, or put you in the mind of them when they were younger and doing the thing. But he going to look for Mo. The Mo done got there,
Always
and
gonna be there.
they just show a replay. Well, he gets there to, we call him Smoke Man, but that's the man who
Well,
did all
that's
the
what they
smoking. I
call
think
him.
I Smoke Man too.
Hmm.
Okay, and he don't pretty much, he's like
He's
unaware that Mulder has gotten past his hitman or henchman to go kill him, or at least bring him to him, then see he get killed if he don't take the oath and becoming in allegiance with his race of people, which were the alien race. And he was, like the matriarch of, the new society that's gonna be born. But he wasn't expecting Mulder to come up and have a pistol to his head. So they gave us a playback of how Smoke Man's henchman went to go find Mulder because Monica had came out. I don't know if y'all remember her from probably that first scene where she was trying to break down the government conspiracy as well and try to see which side was actually doing harm to the American people without their knowledge. And she called Scully and she filled Scully in, while they were still trying to find out a cure for what may be something they can use to counteract what Smoke Man was trying to bring onto the human race in a negative effect, meaning genocide. And she was just going on giving this, speech about, they've already, meaning the elite or the Illuminati or the secret society, have already deemed who they feel should be saved in this genocide that they're or their apocalypse they're trying to bring on the human race to wipe the unchosen ones out, and the ones that they deem necessary to survive this holocaust have already been notified. I'm like, well, wait a minute, because I'm just saying Scully, Mulder, but Mulder has already done, got beat up and
to
everything.
the X File writers, executive producers. Can we please let Mulder have one episode where he don't get his butt whooped, please? Because every episode that I have watched, he has been in the hospital. He has been on the side of the street. And who comes and save him? Scully.
Oh,
Or
Lord.
even Skinner sometimes have to get him out of these
Right. And
predicaments. I just
there's baby mode. He's running up in his little sharp car. At least they giving him better cars to ride in
But
this
I'm just
season.
tired of him just
Oh, Lord. But that was funny though.
mm,
Dang,
mm, mm.
where I go over there?
You was telling how Monica was telling
Oh
her
yeah,
about the
Monica was
chosen ones.
was going on and showing us how Smoke Man had really metamorphosized from being a plain human being, getting all that DNA, alien DNA transfused into his body, where he actually turned out looking like an alien, and he's
Half
just,
human, half
yeah,
alien.
transhuman is what they're calling it now. But I was like, no, But like I say, they were giving us flashbacks how Mulder had to go and kick butt of this man that he had got to either bring Mulder to him or to pretty much to exterminate him, because they just knew Mulder wasn't gonna act right. They knew he wasn't gonna act right. But anyway, Mulder kicked that man, but more than likely killed him
Oh, he
because he
did.
had to,
He
because he was trying to kill him. So, and he probably was full of alien DNA. He didn't want, he didn't want them to come across somebody innocent and kill them too. So he just went and took him out. And then he made him tell him before he took him out where was Smoke Man, because he was going for him. So I guess the man felt he was gonna lose either way, so he gave up the information, and then Mulder went on and found him. And by the time he got there, Mulder was like 1% on his back. I mean, one time in the clip, he's sitting up confronting him with
Once
a
again.
gun. Then the next clip out the commercial, we come back, Mulder on the floor. Mulder is on the floor,
But tooted up and everything.
but in the air. And then he all sweaty, looking like he lethargic and still talking best.
Talking about
Still
he
talking
on the
best.
king's chair or throne or
Yeah,
something
he
like
called
that.
the smoke man the king, and he's crawling on his knees to get to the chair to sit on the throne. He's talking about the king's chair is so nice and comfy, and they're talking junk. Nothing what smoke man wanted him to say, which was okay. You don't whoop me all these years. I'll come into the fold. I'll accept your allegiance. Da 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 da. That's what Smoke Man wanted him to say. About like, forget you. The F word, F you, and any
That
other stuff
But that
going
was just
on.
like with the episode when he kind of saw he had Mulder after he got shot that last time. He told Mulder that he's gonna take him into this utopia world. And then he went through all these phases. I mean, it was like second after second, he was in a different phase of his life. Then he was at about to crow, and he was in the apocalypse was going on outside.
I thought they were looking out in the window, and Mona was home again on his deathbed,
I'm
and just
like,
talking about Scully this, Scully that. Everybody
uh,
leaving me. I might well go. And then Scully's like, in another world, and she's whispering, telling him to come back. And
get it
it
together.
was a hot mess. And I was like, damn, Mona, can you get off your back and,
Never,
defend somebody for a
never.
change? But anyway, Miller finally get there,
Thank
and he
God.
was like, Mother, come on, we gotta go. We gotta go at this smoke break. Smoke man
Don't come
gonna
out
come.
with a gun. Like, what are you gonna do with that, sir? What are you gonna do with that?
He like, where you going? And
But
then he
see,
said,
I think that was just to say he had some power because he still didn't kill him or anything. He
China
let him
better
walk.
what he did what he was like, take Boulder out of my sight because I ain't got time. I ain't got time to have more blood on my hands. He just refused, and I'm gonna help him out again. 'Cause I feel so sorry for him. Just tell him I said goodbye on his way to dying. So just take him, take
And
him
then Mulder was
out.
asking Agent Miller to like tell him to give you the cure. Like he was gonna really give you the cure.
I like Mulder, baby. If he give it to you, he don't even know this bad. And, he might know of him, but he like, he can't stop what's already done been put out, and y'all both get the hell out. That's basically what he was saying. And
No,
he went in there just shut it down. Like,
no. My favorite part was
oh my
that
goodness.
when both of them got in the car, he was sitting against the window just looking like he
Yeah, like
was
how this
lost
face,
puppy.
how a child gets so upset and they just don't want to leave somewhere, and then you get them in there and they just cling to the face of the window, and they just be putting their imprint of their facial expression in
Like he
the
was just
window,
defeated altogether.
the door window.
He was ready to quit.
Oh Lord, he said, he gonna really let me die.
I was like, please, next scene,
And
next
then
scene.
what's his name? Miller just got Mulder in the car, secured him, and just let him look all
Like a
lonesome.
lost
Yeah,
puppy.
he was just looking at Smoke Man like, you really gonna let me die? You ain't gonna give him no information, man. But he just got in the car like, do you have anything to tell me so I can tell, Agent Mulder or whatever? And he was just like, just tell him bye. Tell him his dad said bye or whatever. And so that they rolled on, and I
Well,
forgot. I don't know if Scully called um Agent Miller or Miller called
no,
Scully.
Miller called Scully.
Okay, and then they were saying they were on their way. They was on a highway, but it looked like they missed some highway. They just like, what you call it, warp speed or something.
Cause at first they was in traffic.
Exactly. No, they were just on open highway,
No,
and
but I'm
then
saying when they got the call, when she called them again, That was in traffic.
Yeah, so I don't know what that's. That was too rushed for me. But anyway, evidently they hurt in Agent.
Well, go back to
That's what I'm going back to.
which hold on, which one you going back to? Because I'm talking about with Monica.
We finished with
No,
Monica.
because I wanted to say that she said that they've been working on this since 2012.
Oh yeah, when she was
Mm-hmm.
talking to Agent Scully to come and meet her because she could tell her how to resolve the issue of this coming apocalypse on the human race. There's really too much she can't do about it because it's already been set in motion, and unless somebody's gonna give her the cure, she can kind of give her a lead way of what's going on, and then she may can figure it out, but she feel it's too late, and she wanted to let her know that she was among the chosen people. And then when her and Scully got together outside in the park area, and she was trying to tell her about everything she had told, Scully, that it was all wrapped around the DNA, the
Mm-hmm.
blood that they received in 2012 or some type of.
Well, they start trying to work on it actually in
Yeah, they
2012.
were manipulating genes and
Mm-hmm.
formulating different anti-agents to break down the immune system in the human population. I don't know if it was they were doing it airborne or how everybody got infected, but then Scully was like, no, this has been going on since the 1950s when they were doing vaccinations.
AKA them flu shots the doctors be making you get. You
Oh,
might want to watch that.
well, it was something dealing with it wasn't, it was like smallpox virus they
Oh
were
yeah,
vaccinating
yeah.
you against back there in the
But that's
50s.
still just like one of
But
the flu
basically they were
virus.
like infecting you with alien DNA and cataloging you in a long file because they said they got it on everybody, everybody from the 50s on up to our present state, and it is something they've been developing over time, but they really started pushing it in 2012. So I don't know if we had a upsurge of people getting a lot of autism problems, or and then they were putting it in these flu viruses vaccines. What was it called? The rhino. They specified one of them. The rhinitis.
Oh Lord, trying to take him off.
I know,
If
but I
she
wanted
find it,
to.
if she,
Okay, yeah, it was
okay.
being addressed in the rhino flu vaccine. They were talking about the chemtrails, the aluminum being spreaded in
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
atmosphere with those planes and all those large. They call them fuselage or dumping fuel. That's what that
From the
basically is from the
airplanes.
airplanes, but that's
Mm-hmm.
not true. They were saying that was aluminum agents being dropped in the atmosphere for us to get sick off of and damage our immune system. And basically, the massive contagions were being developed in the sperms, the eggs, and that pretty much started the Spartanburg virus that was going to be unleashed on all American citizens, and just a lot of stuff they were talking about. But I'm gonna try to get through some of this. Where we were.
So now we on the part where they come back and they take a big sample.
Yeah, but yeah, they when they had tested Scully's blood, they didn't find anything, but they had actually didn't take a larger amount, and they were saying, okay, well, why these people not getting better? So we need, Baby Scully was going around like saying, we need to do a larger scale of blood, and maybe we can see the DNA, alien DNA in the blood, then
Amplified.
that make it
Mm-hmm.
amplify a little bit more. So that's what they did, and then Baby Scully started getting sick. She wasn't looking well, after a few hours had went by. And once they did that, they did look it up in her alien DNA, when she got like what you call those little fuel bags that they give you when you go into the hospital to
Mm-hmm.
bring up your immune system.
Yeah.
Those IV bags, that's what it was. They had did something like a blood bag about that big, and
Mm-hmm.
they tested the blood, and then they found out the antibodies was in that to actually counteract the agent that was already out there. But you had to have that specific antibody that only Scully had, or the people that weren't getting sick around it. I guess that she pretty much had like maybe 90% of alien blood in her and 10% human blood. Or it had to be in a large amount, is what I'm saying. And she, went and developed this serum for it, and she administered it to, a couple of people within the hospital, mostly the doctors, so they can start curing, the patients. And then, she went on and gave some to baby Scully, because she was on her deathbed too. She was on her deathbed. And she administered to her, but they didn't show us did she get really better. But she had called it in time enough, so um, they pretty much believed everything that Agent Reyes had came out to tell them what Smoke Man was trying to do to the whole population. And they were just saying, it's in God's hands pretty much. But like I said, he wanted to play God. He didn't like what God had prepared, on Earth for the human race. And Monica was getting mad at him until he had told her she won't be affected because he's gonna save her. She's just gonna be pretty much cloned in a sense. And
Basically, she gonna be still passing his
but yeah, being his servant to putting his cigarette to his little hole in his throat so he could smoke. So, Scully was just too much for her. She was like, I ain't finna be among the chosen elites. I'm not going to help y'all format this whole new new world order of individuals to support what you want to feel is the perfect utopia of existence. And now she went with it. So it didn't show her leaving from Agent Reyes, but she just got all the information she needed, and she's like, we ain't finna go through all this. I'm finna go my way, you go your way, and we'll see who survives, pretty much. So, let's see.
We leaving out the hospital, and she heads to Mulder
Oh
and
yeah, she done made
Agent Miller.
the serum and everything. They don't got the correct calculation of what they needed to hopefully save the human race and everything. And she was, I don't know what folk were looting for. I'm like, this man
No,
had
I think they was trying to get into the hospital.
that wasn't the hospital. She told them to go to the hospital.
Oh, well, I don't
I don't
know.
know what these folk were doing on the street, but like I said, it was
But
just
that's
total
with
chaos.
anything.
But
When
they, but if you said, Sean, so how you gonna go loot stuff when you gonna be dead before you can get it to the car or out the darn store? Because I mean that how fast that virus was breaking down the human body's genes. It wasn't even lasting a couple of days. This was like happening in one day. And if your immune system was already complicated because you were old, or say you had AIDS or
something
pneumonia,
that has already affected your immune system.
right, you be wiped out in just a couple of hours. So yeah, I'm like, what folk losing for? The man had tore up a sign. I think it was a stop sign or whatever. He just went and just bust out the window or something. Scully be like, hello, wait a minute. Stop this, this whatever you doing, and just go to the hospital. We have, medicine to cure everybody. And, they listen to it because they stopped trying to break into stuff and steal stuff. And she had also put out a word to Tad O'Malley's show because it was barely hanging on the thread. He was the only one broadcasting, I guess, for the whole world, at least in that state.
It was like the lighthouse out there.
I know, wait for the ships to come in as safe harbor, like made it to safe passage. If you could see this lighthouse light, just keep coming forward. But I was like, what is going on? But anyway, she, instead of calling him, she sent him a text, and he was halfway at death's door, because he was all looking all feverish and wet and drippy looking. And, he was saying it might be a prayer, our salvation may be saved. Everybody go to the hospital. It seems like it's a cure. So we have a glimmer of hope here. And I'm like, you need to be making your way out the door. Why,
trying to go get this.
I'm like, Dad, please, who gonna come to you? So I don't know. I don't know how that worked. I hope Tad O'Malley got saved or whatever, because it seemed like the rest of his crew, his camera crew, his host,
like the same
everybody
about to go.
Exactly. I'm like, wait a minute. So I don't know what was going on with that whole scene. That was a hot mess. Because I'm telling you, I don't know who would be so courageous still trying to talk to people when they need to get their little shot in too, so they can come back live and in
he
charge.
just wanted to be a good messenger.
Please, he had already did his job, honey. It's like, I don't put it out there. We all doomed. We need to all get to the hospital, be patient, and get this shot in, But he was funny. But let me see. But anyway, basically Scully is pretty much trying to find Mulder. She's gotten and stolen somebody's Escalade, and I'm like, that's right. Get on your black horse and ride on out in style. So she had contacted Agent Miller and said she was on her way to say, she just said Mulder.
Molder.
She didn't care about him, but if he was in still good communication, she knew he was still coherent and she could say him either way. But anyway, they were, having phone tags and stuff and, trying to get out their cars to reach one another because it was like gridlock on the expressway. They was trying to get, to each other. And so he got the car and was waving at her and, she was, trying to find him through the crowd and she finally saw him. Then she speeded up a little bit more on foot. And she was basically worried about Mulder.
Well, she checked up on him. She checked up on Agent Miller. Are you okay? Then she went straight to Mulder.
I mean, he was still coherent and talking
Mhm.
to her and stuff. He didn't look that much labor as far as his breathing. So she said, "Okay, we'll get you. You still, you're from Death Door." But when she got the Mulder, she was like, "Oh hell."
She said what she got is
Game
not
over.
enough to
Game
save
is
him.
over. So she said, gave him a little pep talk, like, I'm not gonna let you die. As she always do. Both of them, when they on death's door, they always try to encourage each other, like, I'm not gonna let you go. You're not gonna leave. This is not how you're gonna die. This is not your fate. This is not your destiny right now. And, then she just cruised on out of there, left him, back on his seat and stuff. Cause he started having like blood veins popping out on one side, like he was kind of like that Skinner thing. You remember when Skinner
Yeah,
was going through
that's
his
why she said,
metamorphosis?
what he got.
Yeah,
She
she
can't
can't cure that. She
right
she
now.
she needed a little bit more time, and time is not on his side. She started telling Agent Miller, this is not gonna help. We need to go find our son. He needs some stem cells, honey. I guess they got to get the operating on mode, but I don't know how they gonna find him. So I'm guessing, okay, Ted, you got to go get some medicine to Tad O'Malley. He got to send out this social media search. I don't know how they gonna do that. It's a hot mess, boy. It's a hot mess, but I cannot wait to. Well, I don't know because they didn't say we were gonna. See, that's what I'm saying. This is a bunch of
But
bull.
the cliffhanger of the night was when they was talking, but then this UFO, they light came, and then they just shined down on her, and then it just enclosed on her eyes. Like you just assume they took her up because at the I mean,
oh no, they could have beamed up her,
yeah.
Mulder, Miller, and the car child.
But the reason why I didn't want to talk about it in the first, when you asked me about how I felt when she turned into an alien, maybe that was why they wanted their alien back.
Yeah, because she was full fledged alien because her DNA in her blood was so potent that it was able to get cure the other people in her path. So they had really messed her up. So I'm pretty sure she alien material.
Yeah, so I just looked at it as they just want her back.
But that's not fair. That's not fair, and they shouldn't have left no cliffhanger because they knew we were gonna watch if we were true X Files fans. We were going to watch that first episode, and we definitely were gonna watch the last episode because it was gonna be in correlation to giving us some meaning of what is what. Because but they still didn't, leave us with anything as okay. The mothership has arrived, but we weren't expecting the mothership. We wanted to, be able to broadcast this globally. Like, okay, this is what's happening, and everybody need to be tested on worldwide scale to see if they in true in fact have alien DNA in their systems, and then we need to come to grips that we're all half alien. And we want to know who was responsible for doing it. And the only person that we know is the government. They had to have some knowledge, foreknowledge, and that gives the whole take of Area 51. When that first alien ship crashed, and they're trying to say it was not true. It did. Everything has been debunked. It's actually true, but again, for us X-File fans, we didn't need to see no mothership show up.
I
What I'm
told
saying?
Apparently, they wanted. They
I needed
Scully
my molder.
alien back.
I needed my
No,
molder
after
back.
he got his butt whooped on the final
But you know
episode.
what? Since a smoke man was actually had really turned alien, he probably was on the mothership and
Already.
just said, "Let me go beam my baby up, my molder, so I can cure him, and then make him suffer a little bit more, and then drop him back off on the planet. The new world
Well,
what
they
we're
just
wanting."
messed him up since day
I was
one.
like, "Now this don't make no sense." They make him go find Smoke Man. He had to leave Smoke Man, and then Smoke Man coming on the mothership. I like this is too much. That's too much. But at the end, we still did not find no clarity. We're still confused on all aspects. We've gotten the scientific, we've gotten the unexplained, we've gotten the spiritual. But with all three aspects to put together, we still don't
Came
know.
up short.
And I was mad about that. 'Cause I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. And then they start broadcasting Lucifer or something. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold up. They gonna give us a pre sneak view or something there?
Maybe they just wanted to see how fans will react to it being back on the TV network.
Well, they should have gave up on scenes or episodes 2 through 5, because that was a hot mess. They could have just did more scenes of 1 and 6 that made sense and true to the X Files, because that was a hot mess and still have no closure. I want a closure.
Well, like I said, they actually might bring it back once they see how many people actually.
But I'm pretty sure
like
it was
Yeah.
record review that
Mm-hmm.
they had to say, okay, people are still interested and they're not buying into the government,
Cause
not
it's
having no
yeah.
knowledge of extraterrestrial. But they say extraterrestrial, but I say demons. The
Mm,
fallen angels.
yeah.
One of or pretty much Satan coming in, claiming his world here on Earth, and he
Mm-hmm.
needs to get more people. Um,
Which was Smoke Man in this
or
case.
basically, if we're taking it from a biblical standpoint, the mark of the beast. Well, you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to choose now. We let y'all go in y'all conspiracy theories and what y'all were thinking, and we trying to maneuver how much we could give y'all and see how y'all were gonna react to it, and
Mm-hmm.
then put some crazy stuff out there to see where y'all would gravitate to. So with all this knowledge and y'all been given, now y'all gonna have to choose sides. You gonna
Mm-hmm.
join my new world order, or you going to just die? And we prefer you just die, because we don't we don't want to hear from you anymore. And I will be one of the ones that's just faithfully going on out, you know, with a high fever, being lethargic, and then dying, because I'm not gonna put stuff in my body, especially
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not knowing that it's already in my body. I can't be judged for that. But just to sit up there and say, um, I'm gonna take the mark of the beast. I'm gonna serve the beast, and for me to be able to be sustained in this world, that's just where it is. So what you think, Sean? If it came down to that night of all that action happening, that they weren't going to cure anybody, because see, they saw Scully using her.
Well, and that's another reason they probably beamed her up.
Yeah, because they're like, that's not supposed to happen this
Mm-hmm.
way. No, ma'am. You coming up on this board, and they're going to die. They're going to surrender, or they're going to die. And
Yeah.
so what would you, do if you were put in that circumstance? Would you go out like a troop, or you would just, join?
No, I'll go out like a truth. Because at the end of the day, the devil brings confusion, deceitfulness, heartbreak, loss, and any depression. And I ain't trying to go through that. If
Because
it,
we pretty much done been whipped through. They
so
done
why I
whipped
need to
us
go
all
through
our
it some?
life.
Why I need to go through that some more?
That's right. So, y'all, that's all we have for the X Files. We were kind of,
Yeah.
upset about it, but pretty much they just put it in your face. A
Mhm.
lot of truth with a lot of foolishness, but the end is gonna be whether you're going to surrender to this new world order and all that it depicts that you have to go through, or you just gonna surrender and say, just shoot me, kill me, and that's it. You know, curtain call, deuces.